You're listening to the Sports Bar on TalkSport with TalkSport Bet. Download the new TalkSport Bet app today, 18+, gambleaware.org. Now, it's that time of the week again. Me and Cundy get together and we try and get a weird and wonderful guest on. And this one is about aliens and alien abduction. He's an expert on it. You reckon? You look like an alien.
I do. Sometimes I feel like one, mate. I feel like one.
I feel like we're all aliens anyway.
I know where you're coming from there. I kind of get that. I've got my own theory on that. I'm going to throw it to Tone a little bit later.
Tony McMahon joins us now. All right, Tone.
Hello. Well, it's funny. There are some people who reckon, well, we are aliens, or we might have even been, shaped by aliens thousands of years ago. So you might be an alien after all. Well,
that's what I genuinely believe, because I just don't feel like there's anything on Earth like us. I think we were put here by somebody.
Hell of a statement.
Well, it's a big universe out there, isn't it? And it's it's hard to believe we're the only living beings, among billions and billions and trillions of stars. So, there's plenty of people argue out there that aliens came to us in the past. They shaped our civilizations. They made us what we are. They may even have created us. I'm sure, like you saw the movie Prometheus. Did they drop us here on the planet and we've been breeding ever since?
Tone, my theory is that we are the only species that I can think of that needs to wear clothes. Therefore, we're not here. We have to adapt. Every other animal adapts in its own way because it's got fur, or it doesn't have fur, or it's got scales, or it doesn't have scales. Yeah. We're the only species that has to wear jumpers in winter, shorts in summer. I just kind of feel as though, is there something in that or not? Am I talking rubbish?
No. I suppose what you're trying to, I guess what you're saying, and tell me if that's not what you're saying, is that we may not actually be native to this planet, as it were. So we've got to kind of adapt while everybody else can, everything else on the planet can walk around naked. But it's not a completely crazy idea. I've been looking into UFOs and alien abductions and cow mutilations and all kinds of things on a series called Alien Corridors, which you can find on the Blaze channel at the moment. But what's fascinating is the people who think that they've actually met our alien neighbours, and even been abducted by them. And
well, have you spoke to them people? What do they say?
Well, for example, there's a guy up in Scotland. I don't know if you know this. You'd probably know the Bermuda Triangle, and there's other triangles and hotspots. But we have in Britain, believe it or not, we have our very own triangle. It's called the Falkirk Triangle, between Stirling, Glasgow, and Edinburgh. And believe it or not, there have been hundreds and hundreds of UFO sightings there, mainly centred on this little village called Bonnybridge, if you want to go and try your luck up there, meeting an alien. And there was one guy that we featured in the series. He was basically driving along. He's worked as a forestry worker, went into the woods. He was looking for stray cattle, stray sheep. Next thing, he blacks out, wakes up, his clothes are torn, ripped, and he suddenly has you find a lot of them, they have these kind of recovered memories. They don't experience it, as it were, in the moment. But later on, they remember that, they've been taken up into a spacecraft and all sorts of things have happened to them.
Go and look for stray cattle. What's going on there? Why is he looking for stray cattle?
Oh, he was a forestry worker, so I think he was looking for any. Yeah, I know it's a strange old story, but we're too suspicious as Londoners. But up there, they're looking for stray sheep, stray cattle, that have jumped over the fence or whatever, and going to wander into the road or something. Apparently, that was his job anyway. But in the course of doing that, he came into a clearing, and there was this massive spherical object, he said, above his head, and next thing he was up there and being investigated.
Okay. Can I ask a question? What does that feel and look like when you're being investigated? What happens?
Well, it's funny. The majority of people who talk about this experience, and let's be honest, and you're probably aware of this already, their nether regions tend to come up a bit. They do seem to think that these aliens were particularly interested in everything below the belt. Right. Don't know why, but that does come up a lot. Others talk about kind of psychological torture, a lot of bright lights, that they're being experimented on, that they're being fed drugs, hallucinogenics, all that sort of thing. And these are stories that hundreds of people have told. And I know, some of them you can say, they're flakes, or whatever, or they've got issues or whatever. But some of them, of course, are actually law enforcement officers, people who work for the armed forces, people with respectable jobs who you would have thought wouldn't necessarily want to look like idiots, frankly, in the public.
Now, if there are, UFOs knocking about,
Yeah.
and they are, these sightings are real,
Yeah.
why have we not made contact? Why do we not know about it? Or is it hush hush?
Well, and this leads us into a whole. You'd be amazed at some of the theories that are out there. But there's theories, for example, that the governments of the world are already in contact with these aliens. There's one professor even says that they hold conferences every year down in Antarctica, that they're sharing military technology, alien technology. There's a theory about the Bermuda Triangle, that there's a kind of joint American military alien base on the floor of the ocean that's sucking down craft, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, there are different theories about why is it that most of us haven't seen an alien, while a minority are adamant that they have. One thing could be that the aliens just are kind of, if you want, they're treating some humans like lab rats, taking a look at them and then leaving them behind, and they don't need to meet the rest of us, or that there's some kind of conspiracy, or that the government is hushing it up. I mean, these are all kind of views that are out there.
What do you think?
I tend to take the view that I cannot believe that. I do a bit of astronomy myself, and you point your telescope at the stars and you think, well, we can't be the only ones out here. I mean, I know there's something called Fermi's paradox, which basically says we are basically scared witless of being the only creatures in the universe. I don't believe we are. There's got to be other aliens out there, other life forms out there, and if there are, then I think it's reasonable to assume that they have made contact with some of us, but not all of us.
Okay, so the next question is, when is it going to happen? When does everyone go, do you know what, right, we had enough of this now. Been knocking around for 100 years, whatever it is, 1,000 years. Let's just meet up and let's have an amnesty. When's that going to happen?
Well, I mean, as I say, there are some people who think that this has been going on and that secret treaties have been written between governments and aliens already. I don't subscribe to that. I don't believe that. But yeah, you do kind of think, well, come on, aliens, show yourself. Stop.
Come on, aliens.
Come on.
Come on.
Show
Enough's
your
enough
face.
now.
You
Enough of this
boys,
sneaking around.
come on, lads.
Forestry workers and, poor aging couples and all sorts of, come out in the open, show us who you are. And it's but some of these sightings, it is fascinating to some of the sightings there. It's fascinating that they've been seen at airports, they've been seen by military pilots, and they've been seen even by government people. So come on, it's time to show yourselves.
It's time to show yourselves. We've had enough now.
Yeah, What they
You've had a laugh.
What they do at an airport?
Well, that was
aliens.
They've got to get here somewhere, haven't they? They've got to land.
Surely, if they're, I don't get the airport bit. Why are they at an airport if they're aliens?
That was 2006. It was Chicago O'Hare Airport. I hope I've said that right. And 12 United Airlines employees and other witnesses saw a UFO hovering above the airport. Now, it might have been EasyJet, but I don't think it was. They all were adamant that it was a UFO, even though the FAA, the federal authorities basically said they saw nothing on the radar. But this was airline staff and crews who said, nope, there was definitely something above the airport. So they've never got to the bottom of that.
I think there's things going on at the old Area 51. They know something. Something's going on there. There's too much. There's too many secrets in America that we don't know about.
Yeah, I mean, and the theory there is that the government has been conducting experiments on these aliens that basically have crashed over the United States, that their bodies, or even they've been alive, have been taken to military bases. And I'll tell you one thing that's really interesting about a lot of these hotspots is they're often near military installations. It's very interesting. These hotspots, these triangles, more often than not, there's a military installation down the road. Now, some people say, that's because these UFOs are actually weather balloons or, routine military aircraft. But the other theory is that's what the aliens are spying on. That's what they're taking an interest in, is what are we doing to destroy each other and destroy the universe.
Okay, so what's the earliest alien sighting ever on Earth?
Well, it's interesting. There's actually kind of versions of science fiction going right back to the Romans. I mean, some people say that some of the stuff in the Bible, there's some pretty far out stuff in the Bible about, that seems to suggest alien craft, alien beings. Some people think that angels were alien beings, but it really kind of hots up really over the last 200 years. And it's with the growth of, our own science, technology, our knowledge of the universe. That's really when it takes off, and obviously the 20th century, massive boom, especially after the Second World War in UFO sightings.
Tony, if you was going to get abducted by an alien, where do you think they'd take you? And would you fight back, or would you enjoy it?
Oh, I mean, I'm getting to a stage in life I'd quite like to be abducted by an alien.
That stage, I think we're all there at the minute, man.
I can put it on the bucket list. Right, I did got that done. But yeah, I'd love to be abducted because it's the ultimate experience, isn't it?
That's what they do to you, though.
Well, that's true. If they could add another 10 or
yeah,
go on.
I'm not sure it's the ultimate experience.
Well, I don't know. As long as they're not taking your guts out, do you know what I mean?
No, I think we're judging from what Tony's just said, they quite like below the belt area.
I know, but
that's his words, not mine.
But they've all come back.
But hey, that might be, I mean, again, at our age, our standard, that might be a good thing. You could always you get a hip replacement as well while you're at it.
No, I'm worried. I'm worried about what goes in and comes out, not what goes in and stays there.
I mean, some people who have been abducted, of course, that's what they claim. They claim they had implants which made them ill later in life. And they've been very serious about it. They've taken legal action and so on. But
against who?
Huh?
Against who? Have they taken legal action against?
Oh, they've tried to take legal action against government. This is in the US, but people who claim that because they weren't diagnosed, that the government knew about it and they were hiding it. So it's that kind of thing. I mean, obviously none of these cases are successful, but that's the kind of thing that's been that's been alleged in the past. But no, I mean, I would love the experience of going up into one of these craft. I mean, I hope they don't look too scary. That's the only thing I'm worried about. And like you say, I hope they don't.
Well, you don't want it like Independence Day, do you? Where they're like a locust and they're coming over just to take everything off you. You want them to rock up and just be a better generation of us. That'd be the ideal one, wouldn't it? Like Superman.
Well, if they lay their eggs inside you and you're having your Sunday roast and you burst out over the table, that might not be it's a look.
I've done that before.
All right, Tone, listen, mate. Appreciate your time.
Great stuff.
All right, where can people find you, Tony?
Well, they can find me at the moment on Alien Corridors. That's the name of the series, Alien Corridors, and it's being broadcast on the Blaze channel. So look for it on Blaze. If you got, you got your get on your box and download it, and then you can find me everywhere. I've got loads of blogs and doodahs, and I'll pop up on the various channels. But that's the main one to watch at the moment, Alien Corridors. Make it a date.
All right, Tony, you're a star, mate.
Cheers,
thanks for coming. Appreciate your time.
All right, man. Take care.
All right, don't go anywhere after this. We've got Not Question of Sport coming up next.